examples of them. We, for a lot of reasons, go through the same mental issues that they went through, okay? And a lot of that is based on our own psychological makeup. A lot of it is even based on family, things that we inherit from our family, even certain diseases that we get. You know, they are passed down because if your mama and your father and your dada had this, you know, there's a likely chance that you're gonna have it too. Okay, so it's a challenge to even break the cycle of illnesses, especially mental illnesses, depression, you know, and all these different ailments that come under the banner of mental illness. It's very, very difficult to break it, and we just keep on this cycle, and we pass it on to our children. You know, we pass it on to the newborn who feels everything that we feel. Okay, especially when they're in the womb, they feel everything. So if the mother is depressed, most likely the baby is going to come out depressed too. You understand? Yes. It's all, I don't know if y'all ever heard about, it's a marijuana joke, and I'm going to say because it said that if you smoke marijuana and you start feeling down, sleepy, and tired, it's because the person that was growing it was down, sleepy, and tired and depressed. But if you start giggling and laughing, it was a happy person that was growing the marijuana. That's a joke. Anyway, so people, we really, our own emotional states, our own mental states affect everything else. Even if you go into an environment, and this is no hocus pocus stuff, this is real science. If you go into an environment where people are very depressed and down, you are going to be like that too. Now, the other element of this quote unquote spiritual, African spiritual systems is this, that, we believe very strongly that there are forces, invisible forces, I call them, but yet they are alive, invisible forces that affect everything else in the world. They affect us because we're here, right here, along with these invisible forces. And these invisible forces can, in a way, change something that is bad to something that is good, and also change something that is good to something that is bad. Okay? But the key to everything is keeping a balance. Because what do they say when you've lost it mentally? They say, oh, you got a mental imbalance, something is wrong. You got a couple screws loose or something, you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puff, And they say it like that because everything is out of alignment, okay? Okay, you're out of alignment. Even some of the people that you see on the street running mad. I mean, they're not washing anymore. They barely eating, and they're very unkempt. They're just out there, and they're like, you can see they're spaced out. And these people are, in the spiritual sense of the word, being plagued by some force that tipped the balance onto the malevolent side. I hope you're following me. Okay? So we have this that can be happening to people too. Okay? And people have to keep an open mind, that not everything is a physical thing. You see? Not everything is because maybe you're too stressed out from the work, blah, 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 blah. There are also other forces at play, okay, that can make people, okay, get into a depressive state. be in exaggerated state where they're like, psycho or really manic depressive, and they can really be very hostile and angry. There are a lot of things, spiritually speaking, things that are invisible that can cause this to happen. Okay? Not just somebody stressing you out, you're worried about your job, you're worried about your children, you're worried about your health, you're worried about money. Not just those things. There are other things besides that. So when you go into the Ifa or Orisha, any African spiritual system of form of divination, and you sit down, some of these things may be identified too. It's not everything that is a physical state. We have things that are in the spiritual realm that affect us directly, and we feel it physically, okay, and mentally, okay? So when you come to divination, always keep an open mind with that. Now, I would like to say this. Let me give an example. Say a woman comes to me for divination, and her issue is, well, through divination we find out that her main issue is she's been trying to get pregnant. She's unable to get pregnant, right? And the sign, the Odu, comes out and say, "Oh, Oshe, Oshe, we have problems with the blood." How do you know that? You're not a medical doctor, you're just a diviner. But the Odu, the sign, can pick up any aspect of your life. It can pick up something that's going on in your physical body, okay? It can pick up something that's going on in the mind, okay, of you and anyone around you. It could pick up something that's going on in the physical realm, in the spiritual realm, okay, that's affecting you. So here the person now comes about this this pregnancy, lack of not being able to get pregnant, and then the diviner say, okay, well, first thing we got to do is offer, because not only do you have a problem with your blood, so you might be prescribed some sort of medicine to take, okay? And I'm not talking pills, talking some kind of natural medicine that's made with rituals and prayers, okay? Different plants and all of this stuff. So you might have to take this medicine, okay, over a period of time. You may also have to do, because it may be ascertained as well that your problem is not only because you have something going on with your blood, okay, or some kind of imbalance in your blood, but there's an imbalance in your spiritual setting, in your environment, in your surroundings. So one of the deities, one of those invisible forces will say, okay, if do this with this person, say, okay, it's Oshe, say you got to do a ritual with Oshun. That's the deity that rules with the blood. That's the sign of the blood, and have anything to do with conception and different types of things. Okay, so you perpetuated the deity of Oshun by the name of Oshun. Oshun, now you're not talking about a living human being when you say Oshun. Okay, you're talking about this force, this entity that creates life, right? Okay? because we got to look at our lives as something very complex. It's not just simple as a body with a mind in it, a brain and the limbs and all of this. You know, it's really, really, really complex. We're very, very complex the way we are. So now you have this entity looking now to put some equilibrium in your life, okay? To bring balance in your life. And all this entity asks you to do is to bring a pumpkin. You'd be like, what the hell? A pumpkin got to do with anything? How is a pumpkin going to get me pregnant? You would think that the thing is going to say, go and have some sex or something, right? But no. First, you got to straighten out things in the spiritual realm first, because everything begins there. Remember now, our thoughts, our feelings, and all of this stuff, they're invisible until we express them. So where do they come from? They come from the invisible realm. They come from, that never, ever, ever land. You know what I mean? That's where our thoughts come from. Okay? So then, when we straighten it out there and we make that equilibrium, then we can come back and say, okay, bring a pumpkin, and we're going to do this physical thing with the pumpkin. Pray over your stomach, clean your stomach with the pumpkin and everything. Even, okay? Next thing you know, you take the pumpkin to what represents the source of this entity, of this deity. Okay? In the case of Oshun, that is water. Now, if we smart enough, let's connect the dots. Pumpkins have seeds that grow. They have many seeds inside. Pumpkin is round like a womb, like the stomach, when the stomach is big, full when you're with child and that's the pumpkin. Okay? And pumpkin also is a sort of a watery fruit. It's very watery. If you ever ate pumpkin, you boil it and it's really soft and watery. It's a watery thing. So it represents that womb, that water, that everything that makes up the living human beings, those seeds, because you have to plant a seed inside of the womb in order for the baby to grow. Right? Okay? So once we do that, okay, we make that ebo with that pumpkin, this metaphysical connection begins. This whole growing of the swelling of the stomach, filling it with the seed begins, okay? And then we take that pumpkin and we put it where? To the same source that which it comes from, to the water, because water is everything. Where does the baby live? What does the baby live in the embryonic fluids in the stomach? Okay? There. That's where the child lives the whole 9 months. Okay? So we have that solution, but you tell people to do these type of things, and they're like, whoa. That's the spiritual part of it, connecting with the physical. Okay? Now, the mental aspect of it. You could understand how a pumpkin is connected to pregnancy. I mean, if you really think about it, once you throw that pumpkin seeds, it grows on the vine like an umbilical cord, it grows, on the vine, and it doesn't grow up, like for instance, it would if you leave it down on the ground, it's just going to grow close to the ground. Why is it growing close to the ground? Because it has to be nurtured and come into full effect. It's big, you understand? It has to be nurtured and come into full effect. So once it comes into full effect, it's not going to just break from the vine and go blop. You understand? It's not going to fall then. Say if it grew up in the air, it's not going to fall and bust open and then, boom. No, 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 no. You got to take it,